let's go into our first segment of the program. The Jamaica Observer today reporting that workers on a farm in Ontario, Canada, have been stayed off the job yesterday, saying they're protesting against their living and working conditions. And they quoted from two of the workers who spoke to them, names withheld to protect their privacy. And one of them says, let me just quote from the Observer here, I just saying the only thing they have left to do is to get physically abused. One of them is quoted as saying, I just licking a liquid man and now go easy upon we. When the minister come and say we are live life, this is the life where them say we are live, we have no representative. It crazy man. And the Observer also reports that they were sent videos showing overflowing toilets and bathroom facilities with waterlogged flooring. Also, no privacy in the bunkhouse, which was open plan, and they also recorded a video of a meeting between themselves and the official at the farm, who the Observer says in an expletive-laced tirade accused them of deliberately pouring grease down the drains on more than one occasion to cause the unsightly flooding. Another quotation is a man like this where we make we no work for all 3 days, he might go pressure with sabotage all when him back way up in the sun, a Bakra style, saying they have to kneel all throughout the day. There are only 3 water breaks and the heat is crazy. The worker said when you come in and wash your face, the water burn you like pepper. And they went on and said they are asking for help. The Ministry of Labour earlier today sent out a statement saying they are closely monitoring the reports and they are going to be investigating. The new Labour Minister joins us now. Pernell Charles Jr., thank you so much. We appreciate you talking to us.
Always. Good evening to you and to your listeners. Let me firstly say Fortes in Friday at Opera. That means steadfast in faith and good work. Those who know will know.
I know that motto. It's which school that? St. Catherine?
No, that's a school that you all love to hate. It's called Camden College. Okay, no, Camden is not on my list of schools I hate. But okay, cool. Okay. Well, you're in contention. Now I know I knew the motto. All right, so were you aware of these complaints before the Observer story came out, Minister? No, I became aware of it, and immediately we called a meeting. And I must say that the entire staff of the ministry was swift in updating me, advising me of the report and the fact-finding mission that took place last year and the recommendations. And we moved swiftly to, of course, give some instructions and directions in terms of engaging our workers, letting the liaison officer visit the particular location and making sure that we can do everything possible within our remit to support and just to make sure that we're monitoring the occupational safe and health and safety of our workers. All right, I have a couple of things I want to ask, but I'm at the break, so let me just take the break, do a little bit of business. We're back in a moment.
This is your Radio Jamaica.
Jamaicans make their own way to the top.
We work hard, but we enjoy life non-stop.
When it comes to our cars, we want the best and settle for no less.
Jamaica, say hello to GWM Haval, the fastest growing SUV brand in the world. GWM Haval brings a new level of luxury to Jamaica with a 6-year warranty. Welcome to affordable luxury. Test drive GWM Haval exclusively at Stewart's Automotive Group.
A modern and efficient public sector is central to Jamaica's development. The time brought to you by the Transformation Implementation Unit is
5:30. Trade up to a new Volkswagen, Audi, Porsche, Honda, Kia, BMW or Mini with ATL approved pre-owned. The temperature by ATL approved is 27 degrees Celsius in Kingston and 27 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay.
Stay fully connected with Flow Yard and Road, the home internet and mobile plan to keep up with your life. Sign up today and get fiber fast internet at home and unlimited YouTube, social, talk and text on your mobile for just $4,999 plus GCT. And get a Samsung tablet or phone now for only $499 plus GCT. Flow Yard and Road. Stay fully connected. Visit the Flow store to sign up today. Conditions apply.
With the Super Lotto jackpot a whopping $247.5 million, this could be your ticket to live golden. Buy your Super Lotto tickets now. You could be the next super millionaire.
Contractors, developers, tradesmen, janitors, hardware dealers, and farm stores. Come to Camcorp Industrial for quality goods at the lowest possible prices. We stock doors, dress ply, Stanley tools, joint compound, chicken mesh, square mesh, shovels, machetes, files, tarpaulins, and much more. Don't be left behind. Call 923-1696 or 923-0115 or visit us at 218 Marcus Garvey Drive. Camcorp Industrial. Something for every job site.
Whether it's hot dogs on the beach or hot French fries for a birthday party, even if it's a runner boat or the pressure of running a kitchen, Grace Ketchup is the perfect partner for any meal and the only ketchup that brings the fun, good vibes, and great flavor. Tested, tried, and loved. Grace, taste that moves you.
Radio Jamaica, active for the good of our nation. You're listening to Beyond the Headlines with Dionne Jackson Miller.
Okay, we're back with you as we continue with you on Beyond the Headlines. I'm Dionne Jackson Miller. One of my listeners who did not share his or her name says the best motto is a motto of Magotty High School, striving for excellence through hard work and discipline. Why I think it's the best. Excellence doesn't come easy. You get through hardships and difficulties, but you have to be disciplined to get to excellence. And over on Twitter, I have Yolande saying, I get quarter geese, Woolmers, whatever you do, do it to the best of your ability. And Cornwall College, learn or leave. And I think that's Discade. And Paul Reed also, of course, saying, learn or leave. That to me is just such a harsh motto. Learn or leave. Having sent two kids through Woolmers, I can sing the Woolmers school song by heart. Might sing it for a little later. I get quarter geese. Anyway, back to our discussion, because we're talking about the complaints coming from a group of farm workers on a farm in Ontario, Canada. And of course, this comes ironically just weeks after that report was published from the fact-finding mission. We spoke about the report here on the program, and I had indicated some difficulties I had with the report. But when you say, Minister, that instructions were given the liaison officer to visit and so on, so are you aware of anything having happened today? Was any of that able to have been done today?
Yes. So, immediately the liaison officer engaged the workers, engaged the employer. Matter of fact, it's important to note that the workers, they weren't on strike. What they did was to protest, and an extensive meeting occurred with our liaison officer and also with the employer. And some of the main issues are really in terms of how they're communicating and what the farm workers are dealing, disrespect from the employer. So the liaison officer, they have the technical understanding of many of the issues arising from the fact-finding mission, and also just the practical understanding of how it is on the ground there. And they will continue to make sure that they, speak to the employer. My advice is that my information is that the issue which led to this has been resolved in terms of the infrastructural issue that led to the flooding. But, as I said to them, it's way beyond infrastructure. And so, yes, we are happy that has been resolved, but there needs to be an ongoing and a continuous communication to make sure that those issues in terms of the relationship between employer and employee are not strained.
Well,
I had a...
All right, go on.
All right. I was saying that I had an opportunity to peruse the report of the fact-finding mission. And I also noted that some of the actions taken subsequent to the fact-finding mission is, just the increase in terms of the additional liaison officers, and we will need more. And the fact that we have to continue to inform our workers, so they're distributing brochures, they're explaining the rights to the workers and letting them understand what the laws and the regulations and the customs are. And the reality is we have a very strong and strategic relationship with Canada, with the U.S., and we hope to continue that relationship. But none of our workers should be left in any scenario where, because of an opportunity, they feel mandated or obligated to accept substandards. And so, it's important for our liaison officers, it's important for us from the ministry to continue to communicate. I know that the Canadian officials agree with the Jamaican officials in terms of wanting the best working and living conditions. But, of course, you have different personalities, and if you speak directly to some of the farm workers who I had an opportunity to speak to as well, they will tell you that a lot of it goes down just to the disrespect, as they define it, or the way people communicate to them. So it's something which we have to look on. I know that we have a lot of work to do in terms of addressing the key recommendations from the fact-finding mission, but it's something which I will be prioritizing. We hope to make sure that we boost the monitoring in terms of the occupational health and safety. And, we've already given those instructions, but we will prioritize maintaining communication to make sure that it's not just a one-day wonder, but that it's something that becomes ingrained and continued as a consistent effort.
Okay, the issue of the flooding, I assume it's an infrastructural problem you say has been dealt with. The story, though, it's mention of many other problems. So, as I mentioned, quote, 1, only 3 scheduled water breaks they said they're allowed to take despite the heat. 2, they speak about the lack of privacy, just one big room. 3, they speak about no locks on the doors. They speak about problems with the heat. They speak about the quality of the water that they're given to drink. So they in the pipe, they say they can't drink that. They say this worker who is quoted said they don't get days off, so they're supposed to get overtime, they don't get any, so they're supposed to get work gear, they don't get any. And I mean, the end quote, they spoke about saying that people run off from this farm because of the conditions there. So it seems to go way beyond that single flooding issue that as you're saying, has been resolved. So what is going to be done to address what sounds here, at least on the face of it, like very serious breaches of what should be proper working conditions?
Exactly. So that's what I was saying when I said that even though the infrastructural issue has been resolved, there are several other matters that we're going to have to consider and address with urgency. And that has started. That process of engaging the workers and engaging the employer has started. There are always several angles and perspectives and sides to any one story. So the first step for us is to intervene, to listen, to make sure that we are getting all of the accurate information, to make our own observations, and then to ensure that from our perspective as Jamaican officials, we are protecting the interests of our Jamaican farm workers and also respecting the interests of our strategic partnership with this country that we've been friends with for such a long time. So, the instruction from me as Minister has been very clear and simple. Let's not waste any time. A matter of fact, even before we spoke to the liaison officer, they had already reached out to the farm workers at the farm. So we're just enhancing that effort. We're boosting the focus on it. And we want to make sure that all of the farm workers who are there now and those who are to go know that we will do everything that we can and take all steps possible to make sure that their health and their safety is protected and respected.
Is there any provision for, and let me just be very clear, I'm not at all saying the program needs to be scrapped or anything of that nature. We know how many Jamaicans have benefited from these overseas programs, but are there provisions, depending on what is found, for specific farms to be taken out of the ministry's program?
Well, I imagine that if there is a farm which for whatever reason is deemed to be treating workers in a substandard way, that action can be taken. I know that farm workers can also be redeployed from farms to other farms. I mean, you have more than 600 there. So, once we look and make the necessary evaluation, if it goes below the minimum standards, then we will take action. And the Canadian authorities will also take action.
Because, I mean, if, like I said, on the surface of it, if these complaints are true, really and truly, people should not be working for these people.
No. And the reality is we have to listen, it's not about just complaining. It's about respecting who we are as a people, and understanding that this is a great opportunity for several Jamaicans to go up and be able to take care of their family in a better way. But in all of that, our responsibility is to make sure that while we make the most and maximize the potential of this opportunity, it must be done maintaining our dignity. And that's the Jamaican spirit, and that's also the spirit of the relationship we have with Canada. So, as I said, this is not about our strategic partnership as much as it is about personalities who may be the employers or even the employees. I don't doubt that if you speak to the employers, they will have from time to time, complaints that we could verify as being relevant. And the same goes for our farm workers. They will have complaints on some of the farm owners or managers that will be relevant. We have to go in, and as I said, we have to listen to both parties. We have to make our observations, and our actions must be consistent with our goal, which is to make sure that Jamaican farm workers are protected, their health, their safety, their working and living conditions are such that we can say we feel okay sending them to this space. And that has to be our goal. It is our goal. It will require us to make some adjustments, right? So when we look on this, when we evaluate the fact-finding mission and the recommendations made, it is likely that we're going to have to make some submissions for increasing, for instance, the liaison officers, so that we can have more bodies on the ground to do the job. It is likely that we're also going to have to make some assessments on the efficiency and effectiveness of those who are there now. Because you see, you hear complaints not just about farms, but you hear complaints about other farm workers, you hear complaints about liaison officers. So our goal must be to have a rational and an objective view, looking on everything, making the evaluations, and ensuring that we're monitoring all of this so that it doesn't become just another one-day wonder, but that we can use these instances to help to change and to shape the kind of strong framework going forward so we can eliminate any of these issues and as much as possible mitigate against these things being repeated.
Have you asked for an explanation as to why the workers were saying they were unable to contact the liaison officer? Because I get the thing about they're needing more people on the ground to be able to monitor, but them saying they weren't even able to contact the person raises questions.
I have specifically asked that we, again, as there's several issues, Dionne. You articulated it, better than I could a while ago in terms of the wide range of issues that have arisen. And I expect that on my desk next week, I'll be given a full and comprehensive brief that can guide me, that will be able to help me in identifying what is accurate, what is true, what is false, what is half true, so that we can make the necessary adjustments and that we can take the necessary action to either improve in how we are delivering the service or improve in terms of the relationship between our farm workers and the farmers. Whatever it is, we have to be bold and we have to be open and we have to be transparent, and we all have the same goal, which is just to make sure that any Jamaican who leaves our shores and goes overseas doesn't feel like they are alone in a situation where they are vulnerable. That's not the case. As minister, I will do whatever is necessary, and my ministry...
Sorry, hold on 1 second for me, Minister, please. I'm at the break. Let me just do a little bit of business. I just have 1 or 2 more questions for you, if you could give me a few more minutes. Talking to the new Minister of Labour, Pernell Charles Jr., back in a moment.
This is your Radio Jamaica.
Have you switched to the new Access Plus debit MasterCard at First Heritage Credit Union? The time by First Heritage Cooperative Credit Union Limited is 5:45.
One of the biggest meets this side of the hemisphere. The Racers Grand Prix makes a return after a 3-year absence with a glittering lineup of local and global champions. Saturday, June 3 at the National Stadium. The star-studded cast includes world champions Sharika Jackson and Toby Amusan, plus Megan Tupper, Johnny Russell, Shanika Ricketts, and the exciting American Gabby Thomas. The men's competition will have Olympic champion Hansa Parchment, world record holder Wade Van Niekerk, world champion Noah Lyles, Zarnell Hughes, and the Blue Ribbon event featuring former world champion Christian Coleman battling young rising sensations Oblique Seville and Akeem Blake. Finish line $5,000, grandstand $3,000, and bleachers $1,000. Get ready for the 5th staging of the Racers Grand Prix, a World Athletics Continental Silver Meeting. Saturday, June 3 at the National Stadium. Tickets go on sale May 14 at the Jamaica Pegasus. It will be a sizzling affair.
Stay fully connected with Flow Yard Road, the home internet and mobile plan to keep up with your life. Sign up today and get fiber fast internet at home and unlimited YouTube, social, talk and text on your mobile for just $4,999 plus GCT. And get a Samsung tablet or phone now for only $499 plus GCT. Flow Yard Road. Stay fully connected. Visit the Flow store to sign up today. Conditions apply.
Protecting human rights and reforming Jamaica's constitution to better serve and reflect the will of citizens is our mission. Overseeing Jamaica's transition from a constitutional monarchy to a republic is part of our mandate, and educating the public on the legislative process and government laws is critical to our operations. We are the Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs, working for you. For more information, visit our brand new website, mlca.gov.jm, or follow us on social media at mlcagovjm. A message from the Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs.
I demand style and versatility in everything I do, including what I drive. That's why I'm excited to introduce GWM's compact SUV, GWM Haval Jolion, the ultimate combo of affordability, style, and comfort on the road. The GWM Haval Jolion takes you to the next level with advanced technology such as an intuitive touchscreen infotainment system to stay connected on the go, plus a 5-star safety rating. The fastest growing SUV brand in the world, GWM Haval, now in Jamaica with a 6-year warranty. Welcome to affordable luxury. Test drive GWM Haval exclusively at Stewart's Automotive Group.
Radio Jamaica, active for the good of our nation. You're listening to Beyond the Headlines with Dionne Jackson Miller.
And we thank you so much for staying with us. We continue with you on Beyond the Headlines. I'm Dionne Jackson Miller. We're talking to the Labour Minister, Pernell Charles Jr., about the farm work issue. The story in the Observer today saying a group of Jamaican workers on a farm in Toronto, Canada, are complaining about living and working conditions there. And to be clear, Minister, when you speak of the investigation you've ordered, that would be done by the liaison officers?
Yes. So no, but I just want to make 2 points. So following the fact-finding mission, 5 additional liaison officers have been employed to what we call the Jamaica Liaison Service. But it is my intention for us to expand that and to employ more liaison officers, particularly because, we have more than 600 farms. And when we looked on the fact-finding mission, it treated with an assessment of about 10%. So another issue that we want to highlight and try to attend to is perhaps expanding, the amount of farms that we are going to make those assessments on. So we have to deploy additional fact finders to other farms beyond just the 60, so we can get a more comprehensive understanding, a more fulsome understanding of the issues that the farm workers are facing across the board. Thirdly, I say that we have to open up the communication channels. I know that the liaison officers are trying, but we have to have a more robust approach to making sure that we are absorbing and receiving that information. Not when you have this bursting of the seam like, the report that you see in the Observer, but rather a more consistent communication that allows for us to resolve these issues before they reach that explosion point. So those are some of the things that we are hoping to do, that we intend to do. And I think that is going to assist us in terms of having a better relationship for the farm workers and the farmers going forward.
All right, just before I let you go, and again, I know you're still new in the position, but is a security guards issue on your agenda to look at again?
It has to be. I mean, if I am to tell you the amount of calls that I've gotten about that alone. So yes, it has to be. I mean, generally, for me, we have a number of critical issues to face in terms of labor and social security. You'd have heard the Prime Minister when he spoke in terms of putting me here. One of the primary things he spoke about is just confronting the modernization of the sector. So the digitization, the innovation from paper to digital to introducing mechanisms that make things more efficient. I think it's another one of the issues has to be for us just looking on the reform of the legislation, reform of the processes for PATH, for pensioners, the issues relating to security guards. All of these matters, we're going to have to confront them head on. And, I'm eager, energized, ready to take it on. I mean, day 2 of the ministry was the conciliation in terms of JPA. And this is just the second week, and we're here with other critical issues. So, I intend for us to utilize the skill sets and the passion of all of the persons I've met in the last week. And as I've said to them, we are building on what Minister Samuna has done. He made a lot of really instrumental changes to the ministry, which I know will have a positive impact. And it's my intention to build on that, to improve where we can.
So in terms of the guard issue, any first steps identified so far?
The first step is that we're going to I will have a meeting with the stakeholders so that I can open up the communication channels, get to have a direct and full understanding of the issues that they have laid out, get an update on where it is now, considering that we are at June 1st, which was one of the critical junctures in terms of the raising of the
minimum wage.
And just to see how we can engage. I mean, when it comes down to labor, it's engage. So first step, sit down, listen, discuss, and see if we can carve out a solution.
Okay, so that's to be set or has been set up already?
It has been set. I am not sure of the date.
Okay.
But the date, I think, has been set for at least the first stakeholder meeting.
Okay, and then finally you mentioned legislative as well, and every time there's an issue, the concern about occupational safety and health comes up.
Yes.
And that...
I've already, well, Dionne, as council, I've already had the meeting on ASH, already met with the team, already gotten an update in terms of where it is with CPC. So I've told them that this has to be a matter that we are prioritizing. It's been some time now, but I think that if we're going to have the best legislation, then it's not about doing it in record time in terms of speed. It's in terms of doing it the right way. So I'm taking, again, a handle on that. It's going to be a priority, or it is already a priority. And we've had that meeting, and we're looking forward to working with CPC to push it as soon as possible.
I don't think in any universe, Minister, the progress towards this particular piece of legislation could be described as being rushed. I think we're probably going 20 years on it now.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, listen, luckily for me, I'm not too distant from it because I've served as a member of the legislation committee. So even though I was not in the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, I do have some understanding of some of the issues relating to it in the past. So there is no going around. It has been some time. The persons in the ministry are the first to tell you that they want to and they're pushing to get it done. And it will be a focus for us.
All right. Well, we'll certainly be following it and we'll be in touch. Thank you so much for the update this afternoon. We appreciate it.
Thank you. All the best to you and your listeners.
All right. Talking there with the new Minister of Labour and Social Security, Pernell Charles Jr.